So guys, I told you guys in the last video that we were going to test the performance of the thing, of the F-106, right? So let's do it. We're gonna take a look on StatShark, and then of course we're gonna test it out in real test flights, comparing to some vehicles as well in the game to see how it would actually perform compared to these other ones, okay? So let's go to StatShark first, take some theory out of that, and then apply them in the test flight. So first of all, in StatShark, we can already see some things over here. For example, if you compare the F-106 to the F-104, to the MiG-19PT, to the MiG-21S, and even the Mirage 3, so I brought some vehicles that are around the same BR of the F-106, you can see that the 106 has a lot more thrust, It can even produce more than, or around 140 kilonewtons in one engine, man. This is a mighty engine that we have here, right? So it is pretty interesting to see this much power in such an engine, right? It really does produce a lot of thrust. You can see that, of course, the F-104 over here is a little bit faster, though, than the 106, right? If we take a look on the drag as well, let's take a look on the drag, you will notice that some other things, we can conclude some other things. Not only the 106 has a lot more thrust, but it has a lot more drag, as you see over here as well, right? So just think about that when you're gonna have, like, you know, kind of a, if you're gonna try to compare the vehicles, right? Because the 106 produces a lot of thrust, but it produces a lot of drag. And even in higher altitudes, although, of course, the thrust decreases, this is at 10 kilometers, of course, we have still an advantage on the 106. So the 106 has a lot more drag, but it does have a lot more thrust. So what does that mean in acceleration? Well, here we can actually try to see it. Let me actually take it down the altitude again. Let's do it on the deck, which is a little bit more pure. And here you can already see the differences, right, guys? Although, like I said, the 106 has more power because of the amount of drag that it has and the weight that it has, you will see that the acceleration of it is a lot, you know, slower than some of the others. So between these four other vehicles, it is lower than the Mirage 3, it's lower than the MiG-21, the 19, and the F-104. So you have to think that the 106 is fast, guys, but it doesn't accelerate very fast, even especially compared to the 104, right? Let's check it out on the high altitude over here. Of course, these are all, you know, in theory, of course, we're going to test it out in the game, especially against the 104. But you can see that, I don't know why is he doing that, but maybe because we need a start speed. That's probably why. So you can see that in the higher altitudes, you know, it becomes better than, for example, the 19, but it is still worse than the Mirage 3, than the F-104, and even the MiG-21, right? So, yeah, guys, think about that. The acceleration of the 106 will be the main problem with it. What about turn? Another thing that it's actually going to be, I mean, time to speed is also good. So here you will see basically the same that we talked about, right? Especially at these altitudes, or these speeds, right? So you can see that the acceleration of the 106 is worse than the others, guys. So have that in mind. The acceleration of the 106 will be worse. In the terms of turn performance, let's check it out how it is. It's calculating, of course. Takes a little bit of time. I'll leave the link in the description for this website. Of course, you can mess with it and see a lot of this stuff. And as you can see, we have another interesting thing here, guys. Yes, although the 106 is an interceptor, take a look on this. It is the aircraft that, in theory, turns the best. Yes, this thing, I mean, I can just, you know, turn it on these ones, just for you to properly check it out, the main numbers over here. And you will see that, of course, the 104 will be the worst. I mean, it's a very bad aircraft at turn fighter, right, as a turn fighter. But look at this. Compared to the MiG-19 and 21, it is a lot better. And it's even better than the Mirage 3. It can turn better. But of course, remember, because of the poor acceleration it means, and the high drag, right, it means that it will lose a lot of energy, okay, guys? So, yeah, the 106 is going to be very fast, but it takes its time accelerating, and it will turn in a very good manner, but it will lose a lot of energy very quickly. So, a very interesting depiction of the vehicle over here. And I couldn't make it work to actually appear with the War Thunder real-time information, but I am using it, okay? So we're gonna give the actual numbers while I test the new vehicles, okay? So the first thing, of course, is that, let me try to, I cannot jettison. So I'm gonna have to use the missile. So it's gonna have a little bit of a different kind of line of thinking and realistic values, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be very small. So the first thing that I wanted to do is accelerate up to Mach 1 at these lower altitudes, and then we're gonna climb. And with that, we're gonna check out the climb rate at like around 30 degrees maybe, or something like that. And there we go. So let's see. So it's reaching 164, 165. And the speed is already taking it, yeah. So 160 is a good number over here. Let's climb up to like 6,000 meters over here. Now it's going below that. It's 150, something like that. So, you know, it's 150, 160, more or less. We're gonna compare now to the F-104. Just after I actually reach the 6,000, just to see if it changes. So yeah, 143 now. So let's go for the 104. So now with the 104, of course, I'm gonna use the 2 missiles just to have kind of the same idea that I was using 2 missiles there, that I was kind of obliged to do that. We're gonna, yeah, I can feel it already, man. It accelerates way faster than the 106. Way faster. 30 degrees, let's see. So it's around the same for now, 106, yeah, but it's maintaining a little bit more. 167 meters per second. And it's just maintaining there, 106, yeah, 167. So yeah, guys, this thing is faster. It has more thrust to weight, pretty much, right? And a lot less drag as well, right? So although it produces a lot less thrust than the 106, it can maintain way better. I mean, we are at almost 6,000, and I'm still maintaining 155 meters per second of climb. So yeah, it means that the 104 is better climbing than the 106, okay? Not by much, but you can feel it. When you fly one and you go to fly the other, you will feel the difference, man. It's pretty substantial. It's on your face, kind of, right? So, yeah, but don't get me wrong, still work in progress. The 106 is not ready, and we don't know if it's gonna actually be better or not. I know that the max speed of the 104 is better as well. Now we're gonna check the amount of thrust that this thing can produce. In StatShark, it was producing around 141. So let's see. It is producing now 139 kilonewtons. So yeah, pretty good, 140. So very similar to StatShark. If I continue to accelerate over here, I'll probably get to the 141. So it does produce a lot of thrust, guys, but it has a lot of drag as well. Let's take a look on the 104. And then the thrust is producing a lot less, 85 kilonewtons. So again, guys, it is producing a lot less than the 106, but it has a lot less drag. And this is going to be the choice that you have, guys. You can have something like this that will be faster, slightly faster, I must say, with a way better radar and way better missiles, in my opinion. When we get to test them, I would see if they are really better. Or that an aircraft that, you know, compared to an aircraft, I mean, in this thing, you know, you have a little bit more power, a little bit more power in the sense that it accelerates a little bit faster, it is a little bit faster, it climbs a little bit more, but it doesn't have a properly good radar, it doesn't have a properly good missile, and of course, remember, no radar, missiles, and no ability to dogfight, pretty much. Okay, so yeah, the 104 technically is a more interceptor-ish aircraft. The 106 is a lot more complete as a whole package. And then one of the last changes, like tests that I really wanted to do compared to... Now I'm not going to compare to the 104 because the 104 doesn't turn, but I'm going to compare to the Mirage 3, which is an aircraft that it uses a similar design-ish kind of situation, right? So let me just take it down the speed over here, and we're gonna check out the the actual like numbers. Of course, like I said, I'm using War Thunder real-time information, but I will leave the values on the screen while I do it, just because it couldn't manage to work for some reason. War Thunder real-time information with OBS, it wasn't particularly working for me. I don't know why, but yeah, just for this time. So yeah, let's do like 800, and then we're gonna do a pull. So yeah, around 27, 28, 30 degrees per second. Yeah, it reached 30, but then it's maintaining at 20 something. So a pretty good turn, especially initially with the 800. I mean, 30 degrees per second, guys, it's like, you know, Eurofighter levels of initial turn, okay? Of course, the Eurofighter can maintain that, but you get the point, right? So again, let's try it again to see if I can get any other numbers. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, 30 is the one that I can do it. Let me restart this. So 30 is around what he can do. So yeah, guys, basically, yeah, it's, you know, pretty good. Amazing, actually, compared to all the other aircraft. So again, the F-104, 106 will be able to be fast, but will be able to turn. Let's take a look on the Mirage and get the final conclusions. And in the Mirage over here, we are doing the same two missiles, okay? And we're gonna pull a little bit of some G's over here to see how they perform, right? So 800. So pretty much the same, I must say, guys. It is a little bit less. It is a little bit less. It pulled around 28 degrees per second. So 2 degrees less. But it maintains it a little bit more. Yeah, it maintains it a little bit more, I think. So, like I said, you cannot see it much because I didn't manage to make War Thunder real-time information work with OBS, but you will get the numbers on the screen. So the Mirage does turn in a more smooth kind of way, while the 106 pulls a little bit more, but then it loses a lot more energy, and then it's not able to pull as much. So we're gonna have to wait and see. When I get the aircraft, I might do some dogfight videos. But yeah, guys, like I said, the 106 is an aircraft that is just a more complete package than anything, compared to anything in these BRs. I think it's gonna be an incredible aircraft. So this is it, guys. The 106 is coming very, very soon for you to get. It is an amazing aircraft. I gotta say, I was expecting a little bit less turning performance, but it is pretty good. And I was expecting more straight line speed and acceleration, but this is not what happened. So yeah, the 106 is a little bit sluggish on the acceleration because it's a heavy aircraft as well. I mean, it produces a lot of thrust, but it is a very heavy aircraft. But it does turn very well, guys. It does turn very well. So it's a more complete package than any other 9.3 right now, or even 9.7, or even 10.0 aircraft in the US in particular, and maybe even in other BRs, right? So yeah, a lot better in a dogfight than an F4, than an F-104, than maybe not as much as some of the others, but you know, it still has the speed, still has a pretty good radar. So one of the best American aircraft, if not the best, at this BR. So pretty interesting, right? So I hopefully it wasn't too boring to check out the performance of these things. So yeah, see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys. See ya.